Today we're back in Linwood, Kansas, following up on one of your tips for something we saw on Sonar on a previous episode. In addition to that, we were actually denied access to a property today. That is part of the story you are not going to want to miss today. We have 3 locations of interest today with the wind blowing sideways.
There's actually 2 houses. There's a larger house, and then there's a double wide somewhere.
Yep, over there. So where do we want to go?
We want to go to the larger house.
Okay.
You said the larger house is the Big Joel?
Grandma said, please.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Says that Randy used to come up here quite a bit and was frustrated that things were not always rosy at home, and I'll just be very straight with you. I mean, I'm a 70s and 80s baby, you know, and we come from a generation where, you know, we didn't always agree with our parents, and I'm not saying that Randy did, but I received the belt many times. You probably didn't know. You're like a perfect little angel.
Oh, come on, man. I got spanked by the principal at my school.
Oh, that's how it was back then.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I got whoopings. Like, I was, oh no, oh yeah, that's how, I got straightened up real quick.
So could I see Harold, you know, not to throw Harold under the bus, but, you know, Harold, you know, could I see him as a enforcer if things were not? Absolutely. You know, when I was a young father, I spanked Kiara. Sorry, Kiara. She still gets mad at me to this day.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, there's a few things she's like, oh, and she holds it against me.
Like the clown under
But then I learned how to parent differently in the new generation. So,
yeah.
On that note, let's go put the boat in. All right, here we go. We are now on the pond. Simple as that. It's not gonna take us but more than 1.5 passes to clear this entire thing. Fish, a lot of fish. So like right here on camera, you know, we're seeing like a log is down here. It might have like a sunken, maybe just a log or something. It's not that large, you know? So that's clearly a log there. All right, this one's clear.
All right, so
No issues here.
Yep, check this one off.
So, thank you, Joe, and Joe Jr., and to your wife as well, and your daughter for helping us out on this one. It removes any speculation, and that's the biggest thing we're out here doing, is just clearing the properties and making sure that we clear any of those past rumors, so you can say 100%, look, here's video proof. We had Jared, Sam out there from Adventures with Purpose. There's nothing in our pond, so for that, thank you for allowing us to work with you. That means we put our seatbelt on and we go to the next location.
No luck?
Yeah, let me move off the driveway and the property here, and I'll give you the rundown on this one. Nice lady. She did ask that we not make this a part of the story. You know, like, can you just completely delete this? Don't mention our names. And I mean, the unfortunate thing is it's a small community. It's a part of the story. It's part of Harold and Alberta's story. It's a part of the community story. So while we can't remove, you know, her name from the story and the property from the story, what we can do is we can remove, you know, because we don't actually have permission to film on her property, we don't actually have permission to, you know, voice recording. I mean, I have the entire conversation here, but it's not something that I can release because it was a not with permission on this one. You know, I explained to her, you know, I'm here to help, you know, as a service. It's free. It's us checking off another box that right now, this is the only property in question that is not given us permission. She says, but you need to take my word for it. You know, KBI has been here before and they've looked on the property.
Yeah.
But KBI is not us. You know, we are putting it out there publicly to check off that box because she says that, you know, a lot of people have been here before, she says, asking questions.
Yeah, and us, you know, us being here or being able to get on the property, you know, would publicly, in front of everyone, you know, clear their name. That way, if somebody did come asking questions, they could just say, hey, you know, watch the Adventures of Purpose video. You know, so
yeah, and I mean,
so if I was a property owner and I got tired of people knocking on my door, I would love for, you know, a documentary filmmakers to come in and, you know, check my pond, because then, you know, just anytime someone comes, you say, hey, watch the show.
Now we still have that cloud hanging over your property, and she has my phone number. I've given her the information as to, you know, the series that we have here, and I've invited her to watch it. And if by chance, you know, you're watching this, you know, I'm pretty sure that you are, please do give me a call, because as you've seen now in the comment section down below, people are like, what is it they're trying to hide? You know, for sure they did it. You know, now all of these eyes are on you saying this is the only property that Jared and Sam have not cleared, that they weren't given permission, and it's like refusing to take a lie detector test. And again, I'm here to, if there's nothing to hide, then allow us to come back and be able to, you know, tell that story and to clear this property for you, because it is a small community. But it's not just a small community. This is now part of the open source investigation scene around the world. So anyway, I do appreciate your time in answering the door today. So onward, we'll go check out, we'll go check some more properties today. In fact, that one that we wanted to check, that we saw something in last time we were here in Linwood, we need to go check that one out. So that's where we're at on this one, Sam.
All right, let's get
Here we go. This pond here, pond number 2, is the one that Dan he saw on Sonar when he was editing the video. So we need to jump back into this pond and see if we can pick something up. The last time what we saw looked like, you know, it could be potentially a car hood or something. Right now I'm actually not seeing anything yet that would indicate what we saw last time in here. Okay, so here's what it is that we saw before, right here. So it looks like it's just kind of maybe a part of a dock, or maybe it's part of like that shed that's over there. Could have blown in here.
Maybe the roof off the shed blew in.
Yeah, part of the shed roof. So let's go over the top of it and see if it's laying flat on the bottom, and like how tall.
Yeah, see how high it's sticking up.
Yeah, it's 12 inches tall.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, so we searched over there. All we saw was something that was about 2 to 4 feet and about 12 inches off the ground. We're thinking that it may be the roof from that shed over there, because it's missing the roof. That's just our hypothesis, but it's definitely not the size of a vehicle, so it's not what we're looking for, but at least we can be given that stamp of certainty. Yeah, we'll check this one off the list.
Thank you. So I'm really glad that we ended up coming in 2 days early. You know, that gave us the ability. Initially, we were coming in with the hopes of covering 5 different properties for you.
Right.
Everything worked out, didn't it?
Do we have a story for you?
Yeah, I bet.
We have a couple of stories for you. So it did work that we did come in early, because we were able to cover the properties yesterday, as well as, you know, a few more locations today. So all in all, we covered more territory
Really?
than we initially planned on this trip for you. So as we discussed, you know, this morning, our mission was to go look at, you know, we continue to check out these boxes, and some of them we were looking at Wilson's property. Grandma was there, and she was like, yes, please, you know, document this, you know, check this one off. I know for a fact that, you know, Randy is not in our pond, so we would love for this to be out there publicly. And so she was very kind about it. It took us no more than, you know, 10-15 minutes once we were on the water. Now we ended up going over to Bishop's. We did not get a warm welcome on that one. She's very cordial, and I appreciate the conversation that we had with her, but at the end of it, you know, permission denied. You know, you need to take my, you know, I'm passing along the information to you that KBI was here, and you need to take my word on it that everything has been cleared on the property. I said, well, you know, unfortunately, we don't have documentation of that. We don't have video evidence of it. And here's where we're at on it. You know, I want to help give you the power that if somebody says, well, somebody thinks, that I need you to please understand that if we were to come on, we were to sonar on it, we were to record this, we now have, one, checked it off, but you can send whoever calls next a video link to YouTube that says, look, it's already been cleared, and there's no more question of this ever. But please understand that if you say no, this cloud is going to continue to be over your property in your name. Mm-hmm. And she did not want to give us access and permission. So that's where it's at. She has my phone number, and I invite her. You know, I know that she's going to be watching this, and her friends and her husband. And that's where we're at with the Bishops is, you know, access denied. I'm sad about it. I hope that they change their mind. So that then takes us to the last pond of the day, which was that second to the last pond that we did in episode number 2. And with that one, after we identified where it was at in the pond, it was actually only, 10 to 15 feet out from the shore. And after we had gone over it a couple times, we identified it as a potential part of a nearby shed that looks like parts of it had blown off. As far as how the size of it, roughly 3 to 4 feet in length, 18 inches, no more than 18 inches in height, and 6 to 8 inches in width. So definitely not a car hood, and we did go over it several times and we were able to clearly identify it.
Good.
So that is where we're at on this one. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with the potential of, coming back in the springtime when things are warmer. Water levels will be a little bit higher for the rivers. But with that, we hope that Skyfront will be on board with us by that time, that we'll have the geometrics, magnetometer on board with us. And, we're going to continue this, and we're going to start using even better equipment, the more we come.
Sure.
And see what we can do to finally find the where.
Sounds good.
So, again, Harold, Alberta, thank you for bringing us into your home. We're going to do everything we can for you guys.
Well, we appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much.
You're welcome, Alberta. Thank you very much.
Appreciate everything you do.
Absolutely. On that note, we'll see you next time. Thank you. Later. Bye-bye.